There it is. And so you guys can watch it and rewatch it again. It will be available for about 48 hours, depending on how, all of you are going. Why do I do that? So you guys have create this habit of actually um, following through with the content that you have. Sometimes, and it happens to me as well, that we have this possibility to watch content or watch classes forever and then we don't watch it, right? So I do this so it creates that habit in you guys to follow through, and you actually do things. When we have all these possibilities of things, we just kind of like don't do it. So as a coach, it is my mission to create this habit of following through and helping anyone that comes into my energy to actually implement it. So yeah, welcome to this class. We're gonna talk about 7 shifts to cultivate self-confidence, and we're gonna have a little bit of housekeeping. So we have like a good interaction, and you guys enjoy and take the most advantage of this space. So I'm just gonna invite you to turn off any distractions that you may have. If you have Netflix on the background or you have your phone on your side, just go into this habit of focusing on what you're doing. Um, so turn off any distraction that might be around you and give yourself this hour. This hour is for you to connect with new perspectives and connect with your own growth. I have a sneeze. All right. Oh, that came out. All right. Also keep an open mind and an open heart. I'm going to share some things with you that might trigger you. So what does that mean? It might spark some emotions. You might say, oh, maybe this is me, or wow, there's that self-judgment coming up. So just keep an open mind to new perspectives and keep your open heart, meaning whatever emotion that comes to the surface, just embrace it, look at it, and look at it with curiosity, like, oh, what's happening there? Why is this annoying me? Or what nerve did she touch right now? Take notes. I invited you to bring a pen and paper so you can actually take notes, not just of what I'm saying, but of what comes through when I talk. So sometimes I might say something that makes you think about something for yourself. It's like, oh, yes, I do that. And then you write that idea and then you can actually see it in front of you. So that is also creating your own habit of journaling and expressing your own emotions in paper. Also, remember how amazing you are. Just the fact that you're here, that you took a Friday night off or just an hour for you to show up to this event and give yourself that opportunity to learn something new, to give to your self-confidence, to give to your own inner well-being is amazing. It shows how committed you are to yourself. So clap yourself and congratulate yourself for showing up. And also participate. So the people that I'm blessed to have here are gonna give me your energy, right? You're gonna give me your questions and your comments, and that's what's gonna make this particular video a different video from any other that I might have done. Because even though it's just me talking, you guys are watching me and we're sharing energy at this moment. So just participate and let's make this video unique and amazing, and this lesson really good also for the people that are gonna watch the replay later. So yeah, have fun and let's get started. So I wanna start by there, setting an intention. So I'm gonna invite you right now to ask yourselves, why are you here? Why am I here? Why did I show up to this class? Why did I say yes when I saw this invitation? And what's the result that I want to get out of this? So I'm going to share a lot of habits with you right now. So there's a habit of setting intentions and me telling myself, what do I really want to get out of this experience? So it is possible that you are here for either one of these options, or maybe a different one. So probably you're here because you want to love and accept yourself. Probably you're here because you want to feel empowered to express yourself authentically. Maybe you want to have clarity and focus in where you're going, in your path. Maybe you want to feel fulfilled and satisfied with your purpose. Maybe you are done feeling stuck and like you're not doing much with your power. Maybe you want to take control of your life, regardless of the external factors, family members, partners, COVID. You want to claim that control of your life, regardless of what's happening outside of you. Maybe you're here because you want to heal wounds of the past that are not letting you enjoy the present. Maybe you're here because you want to see your worth, you want to see your value, and you want to manifest abundance. You want to see yourself thriving and having an abundance of money and friends and relationships and opportunities. You want to have clarity on your job and what you want to do with your life. Maybe it is asking for an opportunity at a company, um, applying for your dream job, or maybe even starting a business, or any other reason that brought you here. So because it's such a small group, you can all share with me in the chat box, why are you here, what inspired you to show up today for yourself, and what is the intention of today, what do you want to get out of this experience. So share with me and I'll just read the comments. Who's first? Don't be shy and just, yeah, share with me why you're here. What's the intention? What do you want to get out of this? Anyone? What did we get? Oh. All right, Julie, feel empowered to express myself authentically. That's amazing. That's a really good one. Anyone else would like to share their intention? No? Okay, Erika, I'm here because I'm working my confidence. Amazing. You're in the right spot. Violeta wants to get the answer to the question, what do I want next? Do I want to get a job or start an enterprise? Amazing. That's amazing. That's something that maybe you will find the answer maybe today or maybe in the next couple of weeks or months. Carolina says, integrate myself, find clarity, and feel empowered. That's amazing. Those are really good intentions, guys. So keep those intentions in your heart and in your mind and follow them. Yeah. See if the content that I'm going to share today is going to give you that clear path for you to actually fulfill those intentions. All right. So now that we've set intentions, let's start with the content. So what I want to share with you is that all of these intentions that you've set for yourselves, they start to show up in your life when you do the inner work. The inner work is you looking inwards, not outwards for answers. Yeah, you start to dig deep in yourself because all the answers that you're seeking, how can I feel empowered? What do I do with my life? How can I apply for my dream job? Or what is it that I really want to do? All of these answers are inside, and there's nobody else but you who can answer them. So, why do I start with self confidence? Self confidence is that part of ourselves or that attribute that helps us step in our power and reclaim that inner wisdom, that inner knowing that will guide us. So, self confidence is not just thinking that I'm the hottest girl in the room, or just wearing a bikini, or being the know it all girl, or wearing makeup. These are just mainstream interpretations of what a woman with self confidence looks like. And I we're not gonna do that today. We're not gonna talk about you being body positive, which is amazing, but it's not about that. It's about an inner work, an inner knowing of who you are, a reclaiming of your authenticity. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go deep into who you are and what might be blocking you. So one of the shifts that I might share is going to spark something in you. So if you're expecting surface tips of how to build confidence, probably you're not in the right spot. I'm going to give you deep inner shifts that you can apply to become that empowered version of you. Okay. So the way I define self-confidence, because you can find so many definitions out there, is an acceptance of your uniqueness and inner knowing that you are unique. You are the only you in the world, and that is your power. So this acceptance allows you to trust yourself and to manage your emotions. So the key word here is trust. You trust yourself and you trust that you can handle your emotions and your mind and your physical space in any situation. That is what gives us self-confidence. That is what self-confidence is. So this trust brings you back to self-love, which is the knowing that you are loved, that you are enough, and that you are worthy. Yeah. So self-confidence is a channel to access self-love. Now, self-confidence is not about always being amazing, like feeling amazing, right? We can always, you know, go from a place of, or I'm feeling quite insecure right now, to a place of power. So it's not about just staying in your power and never ever failing or feeling doubt. No, it's about building that resilience and that trust in yourself that you can come back to your power, right? So if we think about power as a line, we can always pivot, we can always go different ways, but self-confidence is what helps us come back to our power. Yeah. So it's that resilience, that ability to hold space for your humanity, for your emotions, for your mind, for your beliefs, and allowing the ups and downs of life to guide you back to yourself. I know this can be, like a new concept. Just share with me if this is resonating, if this is making sense, in the chat box, and I'll read you. Well, I have a sip of water. Is this resonating? Is this making sense? Don't be shy, guys. I understand the concept. Awesome. Thank you, Violeta. Cool. So let's keep going. Cool. So we're going to start with the shifts that you can do to cultivate self-confidence. So why do I call it shifts? Because they help us simply move a little. It's a shift of mind or of emotion or of perspective that allows us to create transformation. I have 2 more comments in the chat box. That's awesome. That's actually, Anli says, that's actually what I want for my life, because as international, we're in constant ups and downs. Totally agree. That's so true, Anli. We're all internationals here. My intention was to have a diverse group of people, but of course, we're all internationals. We're all even Latinas, which is amazing. And yes, we go through these ups and downs as migrants here. And what self-confidence helps us do is that we just accept that life has ups and downs and that we're never ever going to be 100% good. But that self-confidence is not just knowing that I will always be good. It's just knowing that I can handle any situation, any adversity, anything that I face. I trust myself that I will be there for me, that I will hold space, that I won't let me down, that I will come back to my power. So that's a really good point on this. All right, so let's start with this one. This is the biggest one that I get questions for from clients or from people who are following my work. How do I heal myself? And it's the first shift that is going to help us build self-confidence. So when we were growing up, our childhood was not perfect, right? If you've ever met someone who said their childhood was perfect, they're probably lying, because all of our parents are human beings. They're all um, simply people that are imperfect, that have flaws, that struggle sometimes to raise children, right? Nobody has a handbook of how to raise a child. So our parents were doing the best they could with the resources they had, and probably they faced a lot of challenges with handling us. So we might have been denied as children. We might have been neglected. We might have been told that we couldn't be ourselves. And even though that wounded us, it was not their fault or our fault. It is simply humanity and our imperfect qualities. When you heal and when you look at the inner child that was wounded, you can start to see how a lot of the wounds of your childhood are being reflected in your external world. So, for example, if your father was cold with you or denied your emotions, you might seek partners that reflect that same dynamic. It's just a simple example. If, for example, when you were a child, you were told that you couldn't be creative because that was a waste of time, or that you couldn't be sportive because that's not what women do. I'm just giving examples. Then healing that inner child that was wounded is going to help you bring resolution to those open spaces that are still hurting and start to create change in your current life, because you're going to show up as a different person. So it all starts with reparenting yourself, with looking at your inner child with the eyes of a grown up, of how can I give myself what I did not get when I was growing up. So healing is an inner world shift. As I said, it's all about looking at me and my inner world and how I am, and bringing small, simple shifts to that world so I can build that confidence to trust myself in any adversity. Is this making sense? I'm just gonna, keep checking with you so we're having this conversation. Yes. Okay, I'll keep going because you guys are so shy today. All right. So, shift number 2 is letting go of limiting beliefs and stories. So, it borrows a little bit of the previous concept, but it's also different. So, healing is an emotional experience. It's about me letting go of emotions that I've been holding on for many years, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe 15 years. Letting go of limiting beliefs is about the mind. So, again, when we were growing up, we were also given rules, we were given stories, we were given ideas that we adopted as absolute truths, but they weren't. So if we were told when we were growing up, money doesn't grow in trees, which is a story, it's a belief, or girls don't play soccer, these are all ideas, or men don't stay at home with kids, or you will be poor if you choose to follow your passion. These are all stories, they're beliefs. They're not grounded um, in reason, in logic. They're just ideas that we were given that we actually talk as absolute truths. For example, you have to have a corporate career, or you have to have a degree to be successful, or you have to be a mother to be fulfilled as a woman. All of these are stories that we were given when we were growing up, and we never challenged them. We never actually stopped to question them. And we have millions, even billions of these ideas within us. When we start to look at them and to actually observe how we think and how these stories keep repeating, we can actually decide that we let go of those stories, that we will no longer identify with them, and that we won't build our lives on those stories. Make sense? So, what happens at a subconscious level, I'm going to show you a diagram in the next slide, is that we repeat this as songs or like the radio, and they're non-stop lyrics that keep sounding in our heads, but we don't question them. So when we keep repeating these beliefs and stories, we make them true and we build our life upon it. So if you maybe you're breaking free from your shyness, share with me a limiting belief or a rule or story that you were probably given as a child, that you have identified. Wow, that's not true. It doesn't have to be this way. Would you like to share one? Anyone? Making this a conversation. I have to work hard, says Carolina. Yes, that's a very good one. Thank you. Hard work will make you successful. And only if you work hard, you will be rich and you will be a millionaire. That's a really good one. Thank you. So what happens is that we were given these stories when we were growing up. Between the ages 0 and 7, we were building our own perspective of the world. And this created what we know as the subconscious mind programming. Yeah. And then after the age of 7, we start to repeat these stories like a radio station or like a song. So, borrowing from what Carolina said, sorry, what Carolina? Yes. Borrowing from what Carolina said, you have to work hard. And we were told from ages 0 to 7 that only hard work was going to give us success, was going to give us money. Then that is brought to the front of our mind, to our conscious mind, and we say it. Now, if we try to change that belief in our conscious mind, it's not going to do anything because it is inside us. It is so rooted in our subconscious mind that we're not going to shift it. I'm just going to read what you're saying because I'm very curious. More people are joining. So you said, Violeta says, the fact that I couldn't be a good painter is like the limitation they had to believe other people can, but a family for some reason cannot. That is so true. And that happens to many artists and this, that they truly want to live off their passion and create a life of their dreams from what they love. But even in our countries, like Latin American countries, being an artist is so frowned upon, and it's so believed to be connected to poorness or being poor, that we don't actually question that and say, well, I see famous painters living from their passion, and how come they did it but I can't? Makes sense. So thank you for sharing that, Violeta. And Lee says, study a career to give economic stability. That's a very common one. So you need to have a bachelor's degree, or you need to have a degree to be rich or to be stable. And that's absolutely not true. Look at Mark Zuckerberg, never finished uni. Steve Jobs never went to uni. Albert Einstein didn't even finish high school. So there's so many proofs of the opposite out there, but we have to look at them. What I'm sharing with you right now is that we have to look at it at a subconscious level. So I can share this with you at a conscious level. Right now, I just shared the story of Mark Zuckerberg, of Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, 3 examples. But your conscious mind heard me, but your subconscious mind needs to choose to let go. So we know a lot of success stories, but we don't actually shift and change the beliefs at a subconscious level. And what happens is that your conscious mind is only creating the 5% of your reality, whereas your entire reality almost is created by your subconscious beliefs. So I give you an example. If in your conscious mind you say, I'm gonna be a millionaire, and you're really saying it, and like you genuinely wanna be a millionaire, but your subconscious mind is saying, haha, you can't. Haha, millionaires are just in the States or are just in first world countries. Then you have to go into the subconscious mind to reprogram that belief so that the belief is actually replaced at a subconscious level and you actually believe that it is true. What happens um, with subconscious mind reprogramming is that you have to do it at a very relaxed state. So we're not going to go deep into that because that's an entire um, program. But this is the simple shift that you can start to be aware of. What are the beliefs and the stories that I've been telling myself that are holding me back? And how can I start to change them in my subconscious mind? So the reprogramming needs to happen at a subconscious level. I don't want to lose you, so just share with me how are we going? Is this making sense? Are you resonating? And I'll read you. While you guys type, I'm just gonna go on the next shift. Now, the next shift is about creating emotional intelligence. Let's see, it makes sense. Thank you, Violeta. So, emotional intelligence is about trusting that I can hold myself emotionally, that I can manage my emotions. So I'm going to give you an example of how it looks like to not have developed emotional intelligence and how you can shift into actually being emotionally intelligent. So what we normally do is that we react to our environment, and that shows lack of emotional intelligence. We often go into blaming, right? So whom can I blame for this? Let's say if we are in a car accident, right? um Touch wood, nobody ever is, but as an example, when we react to the situation, we're gonna go into who can I blame? Maybe I can blame my partner because he was yelling at me, or maybe I can blame the traffic because it's horrible. I can blame the city of wherever I am because this is a mess. So we go into blame mode. Then we go into emotional spiraling. So we just become this spiral of emotions, anger, frustration, fear, sadness, and we get carried away by them until the emotions are controlling everything that we do and say. Then that leads me to justify my tantrums or justify my reactions. And well, this is absolutely justified. I was not given a good emotional intelligence when I was a child, or I never learned this, or we can just justify that we are reacting to the situations. So this comes from a victimhood mentality, which is about not taking responsibility for my environment. And what happens when we react, and I'm sure this has happened to all of you because it happens to everyone, especially coming from Latin American countries, that we go into these fights and these dramas where we hurt ourselves and we hurt the people that we love. And this becomes just these chaotic interactions of people just blaming each other and being led by their emotions. And this shows lack of emotional intelligence. What really shifts us and helps us create that self-trust in myself, that self-confidence, is learning how to respond to my environment. So what happens when we respond is that we take responsibility for what's happening. We ask ourselves, what part do I play in this situation? How could I have probably caused this? How can I take responsibility for this mild car crash? Yes, my partner was talking at me, but I should have been focused. It's not about self blame, it's about self responsibility, knowing that I am also responsible for what happens in my life. And I have the power to claim that responsibility. It follows with emotional awareness. So us becoming conscious of what's happening in our bodies with our emotions. Yes, I'm experiencing sadness. Yes, I'm experiencing anger. Yes, I'm experiencing frustration. And I understand that that's what I'm going through. So I allow myself to feel this and I don't deny my emotions. Then I respond to the situation by asking for what I need. I set boundaries. I say, please give me space. Please give me time. Or please forgive me, I made a mistake. um, it's responding right rather than reacting to the situation. And this comes from an empowered mentality of saying, yes, I have part of the responsibility of this, and I am doing what is in my hands, under my control, to mend the situation. So when we operate from this space, we are operating from a place of love for ourselves, self-compassion, self-confidence, self-trust, and love for those around us. um, this truly shifts our self-confidence. When we react, we don't trust ourselves in any situation, and then we are like, no, I can't do that, or I can't go there. But when we know that we can respond to situations, we trust that we can put ourselves in difficult environments because we know that we're going to respond to that environment. I hope this is making sense. So I just want you to be aware that this particular shift, it takes time, it takes consistency, and it takes commitment. So don't be hard on yourself. Um, when you start to practice this consciously, be very patient with yourself, be very compassionate. You're not going to go from reacting and going into fights and dramas and tantrums to being this zen like person that never reacts to anything. It is a process. So be very, very compassionate with yourself with this particular shift. Um, yeah, if you want to share along with me in the chat box, yes, it's amazing. I would love to read you. I'll keep going with the next shift. Oh, don't go there. Oh no. Oh, doesn't let me. I'll just close this. Sorry guys, doesn't let me go back. There you go. Share. Here we are. Okay, so our next shift is facing our fears. This is also something that we were never taught. So what I'm sharing with you today are things that we were never told. Nobody ever told us to heal our wounds. Nobody ever told us to create emotional intelligence or to get rid of our limiting beliefs. These are things that they don't teach us in uni or in school. Um, so there's shifts because they just help us create this transformation because probably we've never done this before. So something else that they never taught us was to face our fears. Quite the opposite. They taught us that if we're scared to do something, it's better not to do it. That we have to prevent any type of failure, of rejection, that we just have to stay safe. So when you actually decide to face your fears, you create such self-confidence because you know that you can overcome anything, that you can go through with any crazy challenge that you might give yourself. So this diagram shows you this, and I want you to imagine that this is you today. And this first circle is your comfort zone. So in here is everything that you know. So you know how to go home, you know how to go to your workplace, you know your friends, you know your beliefs, those you know very well, you know your stories. And these circles outside, they are not your comfort zone, they're outside your comfort zone. But everything that you dream is here. So let's say you dream about being a millionaire, you dream about being a professional painter, you dream about going on a camper van and traveling the world, or you dream about getting married to the love of your life that is absolutely the person that you really want to be with. So all your dreams are outside of here because you don't know them yet. You don't know what it feels like to be there. So it requires you to get out of this comfort zone. What happens when you get out of this comfort zone is that fear comes in because this is not safe. Our ego perceives anything outside the comfort zone as dangerous. So fear creeps in. And what happens is that you need to face those fears to be able to go for your dreams. Many of you, if not all of you, have faced the fear of traveling overseas to a new country. So you know that you have done it before. You know that you have faced something quite challenging, and gone for your dreams. And you know that you have that capacity to do that. But the shift is to actually take that um, risk taking ability and extrapolate it to anything in your life, to going after your job, your dream job, to going after your passion, to going after the dream partner, and not just settling for anyone that thinks you're pretty. Make sense? So you starting to face your fears on a daily basis is going to create a shift that is simple, but it's going to transform your life. So I want to invite you to think about something small that scares you to do. Maybe it's posting a photo on Instagram. Maybe it's going live on Facebook. Maybe it's asking that guy out. Anything that might scare you. It builds great self confidence to actually face the fear and do it. Um, let's keep going. Are you gonna let me? Yeah, there it is. So this is you at an expanded level, right? Before it was tiny, this is a bigger version of you. And you will only step into this next version of you when you start to face your fears constantly and consistently. So that is going to require you to face the fear of failing, to face the fear of being judged and criticized, the fear of being rejected. It's going to require you to invest time, energy, and resources in yourself. It's going to require that you do things that you have never done before because they are outside your comfort zone. It's going to require you to choose your own expansion, your own growth over fear. And same, the reminder that I just gave you, you have done it before. You have changed countries. You have chosen to follow your heart. You have done it before and you can do it again, over and over and over again. All right, shift number 5 is listen to your intuition. So this is again something that we were taught and that they told us is that you have to be logical, that you have to have truths and facts and arguments and reason about things to have a plan in life. And it's absolutely true. Logic is amazing. But what they neglected was to teach us how to trust our intuition, which is the left part of the brain, which is that part that is not logic, that is more spiritual, more soul led. And when you start to listen to your gut feelings, to your intuition, you start to trust not just your mind, but also your wholeness, your entire capacity to be led by something different than logic, different than your mind. So it is not about neglecting logic. It is not about letting go of any structure or idea or reason that you have. It's about learning to balance both. So logic is the old paradigm, is the patriarchal paradigm that told us that we have to have facts and rules. It's masculine energy. Intuition, inner trust, gut feelings, they are feminine energy. So what's happening right now in the world is that we are tapping into our feminine energy collectively, and we're starting to trust that part that is beyond the logic. And you being here, being the person that wants to work in herself, you have that capacity to tap into your intuition. And as a woman, you're even more connected to it. So it's part of you starting to listen, that inner knowing, that inner whisper, that gut feeling that is actually leading you. When reason tells you you can't be a painter because it's not going to give you money, intuition is going to tell you, why not? Follow it, follow your passion. And they both might be right. And it's actually borrowing logic to help me go through the path of love, through the path of intuition. And that's how we balance masculine and feminine energy, logic with creativity, and those both sides of us. And it's an amazing shift that will help you trust your inner guidance. Is this making sense? I would love to know what you think about this one. This is quite a controversial one, but I'd love to know what you're thinking, if you're going with this. How can I balance both energies? Mm, good. Um, at least I'm gonna take that one because it's a big one, and I'm gonna answer it at the end when we have Q&A. All right, so just pin it there, and I'm gonna go back to that one. Cool. What else are you guys saying? Great. All right. Cool. Shift number 6. And this is gonna sound obvious, but when you read what I have to say, it's not gonna be that obvious. So you have to be aware of your inner power and use it. So these are different ways that we give up our power. We compare ourselves. So we actually look at other people that are succeeding, and we ask ourselves, how come they can and I can't? That's a way of giving up our power. That's a way of saying, they're better than me. So stepping in your power is going to require you to be focused on you, on your path. Nobody else has your own path. You are the only one who's building that, who has the skills, the capacities to follow your dreams. Your dreams chose you for a reason. For example, with I think it was Liz, you shared that you want to be a painter, right? Or that you have that ability to be creative. That is your dream. The dream chose you. I don't want to be a painter. I don't have a painter bone in me because the dream didn't choose me. The dream chose you. And that's your Violet. Thank you. Guys, you're so connected. Violet, that was you. That's your dream, to be a painter. Maybe one of you wants to be a world traveler and travel in a camper van everywhere, and that dream chose you because you are the one to bring it to life. That dream didn't choose me. My dream is different. My dream is to be talking here right now to you, right? That's my dream, and the dream chose me because it is mine. So nobody else has the same path as you, and nobody else has had the same experiences, the same lessons, the same people in your life. Everybody's path is different. So you're gonna have to let go of comparison. You're gonna have to be aware of your strengths and skills. So this is part of reclaiming your power. You knowing what you're good at, you knowing what you can offer, you knowing that you are brilliant at something. You are going to have to let go of people pleasing by setting boundaries. This is a huge one, and I spend a lot of time working on boundaries with people because we are so conditioned to saying yes to everybody, especially as Latin American women. We have been told that we have to serve others, that we have to be at the mercy of other people, and that we have to just say yes to everybody. And setting boundaries and saying no is so difficult for us. But when we start doing that, we start to reclaim our power over our relationships, over, sorry, over our interactions with others, over our energy. So that's me knowing my inner power and using it. You're going to have to choose your own path. Yeah. So Violet choosing her own path of being an artist, being a painter. and never pivoting or never saying, oh, I can't do this. This is too hard. Because that's your path, right? And choosing it and committing to it. You're going to have to be creative about your resources. So you have everything you need right now to fulfill your dreams, but you have to be creative about it. You have to see, how can I use what I already have to create my next step or to go with my chosen dream. Yeah. And you're going to have to create a spiritual practice that is going to keep you receiving guidance from source. So what does this mean? A lot of our inner power is not just ours. It is given by the creator, by an external source. You can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it um, I don't know, the unified field of possibilities. When you create a spiritual practice holistically, mind, body, and soul, you are saying, I am a vessel of my dreams, and I'm asking for guidance for that power that is guiding me. So you being connected to that source is part of your inner power. Share with me, is this making sense? Is this new for you, or how is this resonating with you guys? Let's share while I have a sip of water. It's a new idea to me. Amazing. I love that. I love sharing something new with you. So all of this is part of reclaiming your power, of reclaiming your identity, on the possibility of what you can do with who you are, with your authenticity. Now, the last one is to take action. So this is one that is very simple, but people don't do. So I'm going to give you an example. Lack of taking action is just keep on doing the same things you've been doing. Let's say you hate your job, you hate your house, you hate your boyfriend, everything around you, and you just keep showing up to the same places that dim your light, that take away your power, that take away your energy. That's you deciding not to take action because you're just keeping yourself in the comfort zone. And a lot of people never take action. A lot of people stay stuck in the same places that keep them small forever because they're too scared. And taking action is the one thing that builds confidence in yourself. Staying in inaction keeps you in fear. So remember the diagram I showed you before where the girl was in the comfort zone. So comfort zone keeps us living in fear, scared of what if I do something different? What if I just stay here forever? What if I fail if I try something new? So people neglect taking action. That's not, Carolina says, that's not new for me, but I'm learning how I can really listen to my intuition. Amazing. Awesome, Carolina. So taking action is taking a leap. So just like the girl in this diagram, in this photo, she's literally jumping to the possibilities. She doesn't know what's gonna catch her. Of course, there's water there, but she's just taking a risk. And she's saying, the water will catch me. And that's exactly what you're doing when you take action towards your dreams. It's probably breaking up a relationship that you're not happy into. It's probably saying, I'm gonna leave this house, or I'm gonna leave my parents' environment because it's just too constrictive, or it's probably quitting a job, or it's probably choosing to do something different to break the patterns that you've been following that have kept you small, that have kept you away from your power, away from claiming your confidence in yourself. So fear loves inaction. If you want to keep living in fear, stay in inaction. But if you want to step into that version of yourself that is full of love, of passion, of fulfillment, of expansion, you have to take a leap. You have to take action. You have to do something about it. Now, here's the truth. Many people are going to just watch this video and be like, okay, yeah, it was very nice, thank you, and never do anything about it, never take action, never implement these shifts. But the people that will actually build self-confidence, build the life of their dreams are the action takers, the people that will implement these shifts and that will take action with this information. I want to share with you this quote: knowledge is not power, implementation is. We do nothing just by gathering information. Like, you can go to as many classes as you want, or read as many books as you want, or have as much information about self-confidence as you want. But that's not going to give you power. Only implementing is what's going to keep you growing and expanding. Make sense? So nothing creates confidence like action. You just taking action on being here is amazing. So I congratulate you. And you implementing maybe one, maybe two, maybe all seven of these is going to create ripple effects in your life. Wanna read what you share? And Lee says that's true. If you don't do anything, the history will repeat over and over again until you really take action. That is true. Exactly. You have to do something about it. Now, let's see. One back. So, how can we move forward? How can you actually start to consciously implement this? So, this is, I'm very happy talking to you right now, but it would be a disservice of my part to tell you all of these shifts, tell you, hey guys, let's do this, but not showing you how you can implement them and cultivate self-confidence and empowerment, right? So I want to hold your hand while you are doing this. So what I'm going to do now is that we're going to have a Q&A in the next 2 minutes. But what I want to offer right now is a gift to you. So to those of you who are ready to take action, I'm going to offer you a free 45-minute session. So this 45-minute session is valued in $200, and you're going to get it for free right now. And in this session, we're going to gather, you and me, on the phone, on a Zoom call, and we're going to create a strategy for you to actually implement this for your own specific situation. So maybe some of you will have to work on comparing yourselves, or some of you are really curious about intuition, or some of you are really curious about emotional intelligence, or any of the things that I've shared with you. So in this call, we're gonna see where you're at and what you're struggling with, and how I can help you, give you a plan for you to actually get towards your goals, for you to actually implement this in your life and bring these shifts to fruition in your life. So in the chat box right now, and I'm also going to send this to your email, I'm going to pop the link for you to book a call. So this call that I'm gifting you is to be used next week. So Monday to Friday, there's a lot of slots available. They're limited, so be aware of that. All you have to do is just book the call, and it's a free call where we're gonna have that space to create a strategy for you that is aligned with what you need, where you want to go, and what you want to do. Make sense? So I'll just leave that there. The link is on the chat box. And now I'm just going to give you some time for Q&A. Cool. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you the space to ask any questions, and we can go from there. I'm going to start with Anli's question about how can I balance masculine and masculine and feminine. Sorry. So we are dualistic beings, right? We have left and right hemisphere of the brain. We have yin and yang, masculine and feminine. So when I am aware of my masculine energy, that is all about the doing and the logic and how I work in that area, and my feminine energy, that is about the feeling, the being, the intuition. When I work on those two areas separately and I start to play with how I use each one of them in each situation, I can start to balance them. It's not something that you do like, oh, I'm going to balance them and then I'm balanced. It's about learning how to operate from those two spaces. So, for example, at this very moment, I am standing up in both because I'm holding space for you. I'm talking about emotions, I'm talking about empowerment and shifts, and I'm being very compassionate and loving towards you guys. So that's my feminine. But I'm also doing a strategy, right? I have my slides, I have my microphone, I have my email, right? I have all the strategy and the tools as my masculine energy, but I'm also holding space and being compassionate and loving. So that's me balancing both energies because I have tapped into both. Now, you can actually access this in your own world, in your own career, in your own loving life. But it's all about playing with both and being aware of how am I standing in my feminine and how am I standing in my masculine, and when do I need to stand in both. So I hope that answers your question, Annalise. um, Violeta says, what motivated you to do this conference and why you decided to make it in English? So my intention, like, I have followers that are from both languages. So usually I get a mixture of people that are both Spanish and English. And with English, I can just get to more people. So all of you guys are Latinas right now, but this video will be seen by other people that are not Latino. So they can actually have access to this content, and it's easier for me just to create one piece of content. Why I did it? Because I see people holding themselves back so much. This is what I do for a living, and I talk to people on a daily basis. And they're always so fearful of being a failure, of being rejected, of taking a risk. And they stay small, they stay in areas where they're not happy. They're confident, they're comfortable, but they're just not happy. And that just saddens me a lot because there's so much potential in every human being. And if every single person started to do just a little shift here and there, they would create amazing results. Now, why would I keep this information to myself if I could just share it to everyone and, help everyone succeed and overcome obstacles? So that's what inspired me, Violeta. Thank you for your question. What I'm going to invite you to do right now, since we're, a small group, if you can share, maybe you're in my Facebook group, Empowered and Spiritual, or maybe you have Instagram. So the way you can repay me for this is sharing a key takeaway. So something that really, really resonated with you, something that you're keeping with yourself and you're like, wow, that really spoke to me. I'm going to implement this. So all you have to do is share your key takeaway either in the group, either in your Facebook wall or on Instagram, and then tag me. I'm on Instagram as Kat Empowered, or if you're on my Facebook group, just share a little key takeaway. That's how how you can give back for this space that I held. Carolina says, thanks for sharing your dream with us. How can we identify what we really want? That's a great question. So often, when we don't know what we want, we try to find the answer externally. Yeah. So a lot of people go to Bali. They're like, in Bali, I'm going to find what I want. Or they go ask people, like, hey, how do you see me in life? Or what do you think I should do with my life? Or they go to a career counselor and they're like, okay, you tell me, what should I do with my life? But what they neglect is to go within and ask themselves, what's in here, what's happening. How you go within is there's many methods. You can meditate, you can journal, you can ask yourself questions at a subconscious level. So this happens with hypnosis, or this happens through meditation as well, or this happens through one-on-one practices, such as coaching, psychology. So it's all about tapping into what you know, because nobody knows what you want but you. And if you really have no idea, you start with your inner child. So the reason why I started all of this with inner child healing is because our inner child has so much knowledge about us. I believe that children come to the world knowing everything that they have to do, knowing that they're meant to be here for a reason, and knowing how they're going to do it. But then society comes and, you know, gives us all the rules, and then we forget. So when you connect with your inner child, you do that healing, you let go of all that conditioning, and then you tap into that inner wisdom. You remember what you were meant to do. So you can start by remembering, what did I like to do as a child? You can visit your inner child. So I guide that inner child healing towards reconnecting with that part of yourself that you probably disconnected from when you were denied or not seen or not validated as a child. I hope that answers your question, Carolina. And yeah, is there any other questions that you have? Hmm. So that. Thank you, Carolina. All right. If there's no other questions, we can wrap it up there. Just remember, yeah, to share your key takeaways. That would be amazing. That would mean a lot to me. And, book your free 45-minute call where we're gonna discover what's your next step, how you can reconnect with your power, how you can implement this, how you can build emotional intelligence, or any other shift that truly spoke to you and you want to implement. Thank you, Violeta. Thank you very much for the time and for this wonderful information. Amazing. I'm very happy that you enjoyed it. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And I hope you have a lovely Friday. And yes, I'll see you later. And I'm going to send you the reply to your emails. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a lovely night.